the adaptation finance gap is growing worldwide, especially in developing countries. The Adaptation Fund board has set an ambitious target of $300 million for this year from a growing number of contributor governments.
The heat now is different. Very few areas in this planet where you're escaping the heat. All of a sudden, politicians, everybody now is realizing we have got to do something.
With this framework that the AF brings, of coordinating these resources, coordinating the donors, then yes, and then being able to channel them logically, that's really a very important role that the Adaptation Fund is playing.
All this adaptation work on the ground, it gives us opportunity or examples to move forward to formulate national adaptation plan, which covers short-term adaptation work, medium-term adaptation work, and long-term adaptations plan. So these all are the plan that has been experienced from the adaptation activity at the field, which has a tremendous example I see in the developing country.
We provide funding that is grant-based funding, and that is particularly important for the needs of the most vulnerable communities that often don't have access to other types of funding. We've also opened specialized funding windows for things like adaptation innovation, and learning and sharing, and scaling up. This year we've opened new funding windows for locally led adaptation, which is a new focus on devolving decision-making closer to the communities, to the local level.
What we like about the Adaptation Fund is that they are open to your ideas from your country based on your national circumstances. A small island developing states, because we're island and everything has to be shipped in, everything costs twice as much as a mainland country. The Adaptation Fund grant money help us to support families so they can get the technology they need. The banks heard about the lessons we learned. They heard about what we're doing to reduce the costs for people on the island. And they too have taken up our term sheet, and they're offering loans, resilience loans to homeowners. So we're seeing the local financial institution take up this idea.
100% of the project's costs are funded by the grant without requiring mandatory co-financing. This is very good, especially for the LDC countries. It means the intended objectives and impacts are usually fulfilled even without necessarily the implementing agency or the country contributing part of their money.
Climate change is going to be with us for the long term, and because of that, the Adaptation Fund focuses on building the capacity of countries themselves so that they will become gradually self-sustaining in their climate change adaptation efforts. A big part of that is what we call direct access, which enables countries' own national organizations access resources from the international level, from the Adaptation Fund.
The adaptation's working modality has been replicated by other funding agencies.
It's very important that we use the limited global resources for climate adaptation in the most efficient way possible. As part of that, the multilateral climate funds, including the Adaptation Fund, pledge to work together in harmony and in synergy with each other to make climate finance access as simple as possible for developing countries.